So last weekend, I was selling my work at an art fair, and I was noticing that not as many people were coming into my booth to shop as they usually do. So I was trying to figure out what was going on. Then finally, an older couple walked into my booth, and they proceeded to look at my work and get really excited and say, oh, their daughter would love my work. Can they take a few photos? And I was like, sure, okay. And I put my business card in front of the pieces that they wanted to photograph, so that way they couldn't just straight up steal them and, print them out using like Walmart or some online service. But then after that, they started bragging, as some customers often do, about how their daughter created something really cool. But this time it was creating something in a different way than I'd ever heard a customer brag about it. What the daughter had done was uploaded photos of her dog to Canva, and then Canva's AI created pictures of her dog sitting on the toilet, taking a bath or taking a shower or something, like brushing its teeth, bathroom photos that are funny with her pet in them. And then she was able to easily print them out using their service and hang them on the wall in her bathroom. So they were telling me all about this and so excited, thinking it was super cool that she was able to do this. Now, me, from my perspective as an artist here who's competing with AI, creating free artwork for people, I'm just like, well, they probably took pictures of my work and I'm going to send them to her daughter, and then the daughter is going to upload them to Canva, and then Canva is just going to copy my work and spit her out something that she can print for much less than what I'm charging. And so when the customers turned to leave and said, oh, we'll be back once our daughter tells us which ones she wants, I kind of thought to myself, well, she's probably not going to want any of them, since she can make something similar for free and just rip off my art. And so I'll probably never see these customers again. And I was right, I never saw them again. But what this showed me is that there are a lot of customers generating artwork now using AI instead of purchasing it from artists. And it also showed me that some customers don't even care whether the artwork was generated with AI or whether somebody actually made it. What they want is just something that they think is cool. They don't really care where it came from. In fact, if they can save money and get it done for free, they think it's even cooler than if they had to purchase it. And they're willing to brag to artists who are trying to do this for a living about it, because they obviously don't really understand that this is affecting our income and our potential livelihood in the future. Along these same lines, there are more and more artists selling AI art at art fairs. I've been seeing it crop up all over the place. There are entire booths full of what looks like AI generated art. I mean, they may be claiming that it's digital art, and in some cases it is, because not all digital art is created by AI. There are a lot of people creating digital art by hand using programs like Procreate and things like that. But there are a lot of artists now who are claiming their AI generated art is actually digital art that they made by hand, and they're doing this so that they can get past the jury process. One of my friends even did a show where a person was actually kicked out of the show because they had AI art and they had lied to get in. So some coordinators of these events don't want AI there, and they're willing to kick people out, and all the other artists like it when somebody gets kicked out. It seems like they like it anyway when somebody gets kicked out for selling AI art. But for me, this brings up a lot of ethical considerations, right? I mean, should artists, if they lie to get into the show saying that it's not AI art, get kicked out if they are discovered that it is AI art? Probably, because they lied. But on the other hand, if the show allows the person in and they don't lie, should they get a lot of flack from the other artists? I mean, also probably not. I mean, I think lying, at least for me, is the real problem here. But the other thing is there's a lot of events that don't have juries. And so these events are having tons of artists there with AI art, or maybe even just like a portion of their booth with AI products. I'm seeing this a lot at different craft fairs that I go to, because there are just so many different products. Like, they're making an AI generated image and putting it on a cup or a t-shirt or a tumbler, something like that. Then they're selling it in their booth as a part of a lot of other things that they probably designed themselves but weren't quite as graphic and advanced, and so you can tell that it was most likely AI generated. But nobody's stopping them from doing this, and customers either don't know or don't care, because they're shopping from them and they're purchasing the AI generated items. And please share in the comments if you've experienced AI art being sold at any events, if you've thought that it has impacted your sales at all. Like, for example, if you've been next to a booth full of AI art or products with AI art on them, how has that affected your sales? Because I would love to know just in different parts of the country what's going on. So if you could share if you've seen AI art and then what part of the country that you're selling at art fairs in, that would be amazing, because then we can kind of learn from each other and try to figure out what's actually going on all across the country, because the experiences I'm sharing are from shows in the Midwest. With all of this in mind, I often am wondering what's going to happen to us artists who are selling online and in person over the next 5 years as a result of AI art coming onto the scene and being so readily accepted by everybody, from a creator standpoint, the people making AI art, to even the people who are just using AI art as a part of the process, which I don't have as much of a problem with. Like, for example, if you're just using it to generate reference images, but then you're creating the rest of the work yourself, I think that's an acceptable use of AI, especially if it's one of the ethical AIs like Adobe Firefly. But the thing is, there's not just that going on, but then there's all the competition from all of the AI art, and then the aspect of the customers. They're not knowing what is AI, what isn't AI. Some customers do not want to support AI art. They do not want to buy it. So then in your art booth, you either have to have original work so they can see that there was paint placed on the canvas to verify that your work was not made by AI, or online you have to have process videos that they can find somewhere to prove that you were making your art. But on the other hand, there are customers like the ones who walked in my booth that I shared the story at the beginning of the video, where they're really excited about AI and think it's cool that they get to generate art for free. So yeah, where does this leave us as artists? Well, for one, there's a lot more competition out there, and there's going to be more and more competition. So we need to figure out a way to differentiate ourselves from others who are selling around us. There are a lot of ways to differentiate yourself as an artist, but what I like to do is try to level up my art, make my work better than it has ever been before. I don't necessarily compare my work to other artists' work, but I compare the work that I'm making now to the work that I made last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. And I try to see, how am I growing as an artist? How am I making my work so much better, giving it more wow factor, maybe even upgrading my booth, figuring out a way to get those customers when they are walking by my booth to be so wowed and so interested that they're going to come in and shop. Storytelling is also important, because if you think about it, people who are creating art or images using AI probably don't have that much passion or story or narrative behind their work. So as a handmade artist, if you have those things, make sure to share those with customers. Show your passion and show the amount of years that it has taken you to hone your skill, because that's worth a lot. And if you allow a customer to see that, to get a peek inside your mind and inside your heart, that's going to help you sell work so much better than anybody who is just typing in a few prompts and creating something with the computer. And another thing that we can do is create more opportunities for ourselves to sell. This can be either selling online in multiple locations, selling at more art fairs than you normally would, so that way you are stacking your schedule with more opportunities to sell. This way you'll be getting your art in front of more customers, and even if those customers have more options of things to buy or even things to get for free, you have more opportunity to be able to sell to them and hopefully be able to close some of those sales. Now, if you want to learn more about selling at art fairs, like all of the basics, I have an entire free course you can watch here on YouTube. Check it out here. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.